This video will show you how to replace the front outside power mirror on a Mitsubishi Outlander. This will be mounted to your front door. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Now to remove the door panel from this area, we're starting up along the top. In this upper corner, we can see that we do have a small triangular trim panel. Some of these applications will have a speaker located behind it, others will not. For this, I'm using a trim tool. I'm going to start breaking this free. We'll just give this a quick spin. Now I can see that I do have an electrical connector. On my application, it just goes into the trim panel. If there was a speaker, I would be dislodging it from that. As far as this electrical connector, I'm just taking hold. I'm going to give it a wiggle and slide it out of place. Every time I disconnect any electrical connector, I always take a peek for corrosion. This looks good, so I'm going to set it aside. Now let's move down towards our inside door handle. If you were looking behind the handle itself, you can see that there's a small trap door. We're going to have to dislodge that. I like to use an angled pick. Now that I have that separated, just a quick look along the back side, I can see all of my locking tabs. We'll set that aside. That exposes a Phillips head screw deep inside this area. Go ahead and remove that screw. There's my mounting screw. Now we're moving down towards our grab handle. Looking inside this area, we can see another plastic trap door. I have my pick. There's that small trap door. And we exposed our Phillips head screw. Go ahead and remove that. Now, of course, we do have some elements behind the door panel we're going to have to contend with. We have a wiring harness for the switches and everything, but we do have to pull the door panel away from the door to gain access. To do that, I'm using a small trim tool. Down along the bottom, you're going to find that there's access ports. You can make your way in and then gently start prying the door panel away from the door. As we pull it away, just keep in mind we do have that wiring harness along the backside. So I'm just using my trim tool. I'll find an area to gain access and just start pulling it away. There we are. Now let's focus up along the top here. We're going to lift this up and away so we can gain access along the backside. Let's just hang this aside. With the door panel out of the way, we can see the electrical connector for our outside mirror. It has a locking tab. Go ahead and squeeze that in and dislodge it. A thorough inspection for corrosion. That looks good. So now we're making our way up towards where the hardware is holding the mirror to the door. You can use a 10mm for all three pieces of hardware. I'm going to fully loosen the first mounting nut, but start out on just a couple threads while I continue on to all others. Now I'm going to take hold of the mirror so it does not fall. I can remove that mounting nut I started on a couple threads, and we can remove the mirror from the door, removing it and the wiring harness through its corresponding port. There it is, friend. Now let's prepare to install our brand new mirror. Of course, we need to install the cover. We would want to have this paint matched to your preference first. One thing I would mention about this, looking along the inboard side, you can see that we do have several small hooks and some locking tabs. Those small hooks need to fit into their corresponding slots on the mirror itself, and we'll roll this into the proper position, latching it in. There we are. Now we can get this on the vehicle. Now, prior to installing any brand new part, of course, we want to make sure we clean and inspect our mounting area. For this, I'm using a clean rag and some glass cleaner. You can clean your vehicle any way you deem fit. We'll give this a close inspection for any rot or damage. This does look good. Let's prepare for installation. Now, at this point, let's get the mirror in place. Looking at the mirror itself, we can see our three studs, and of course we have our wiring harness. Looking at the door, you can see exactly where everything needs to be. Let's line this up, we'll press it in, start on all pieces of hardware. Wiring harness first. Continue on to those studs. Make sure the wiring harness is not getting pinched in any way. Start on all 3 pieces of hardware and snug them up. For good measure, I'm going to do this with a hand tool as well. I just want to make sure everything's nice and tight. Now we can take hold of the mirror, we'll make sure it does not move around in any way, and continue on to our electrical connector. Let's line this up, we'll press it in, audible click, and it's secure. Now let's prepare to align the door panel with the door. Along the top of the door panel, there's this small lip making its way all the way across. And if you are looking at the door itself, along the window channel, you can see where we have a small groove for that to slide into. That's where we're going to start, but I also want to point out along the side, we have several locking clips. Those need to press into their corresponding ports. Coming up nice and high, I'm going to attempt to slide that down into the right position here. Just a couple light taps along the top. Now I'm going to make sure I feel along the sides, confirming it is aligned, and then I'm going to tap it in all the way around the door panel. This feels good. Obviously, we do still have some hardware to install, but let's just make sure each one of those locking clips are properly secured in place first. Let's look inside of the grab handle. We need to install our mounting bolt here. It's easiest to reach in this area using a magnet if necessary. We'll make sure that's nice and tight and protect the area with its cover. Let's make our way towards the inside door handle next. We have our mounting screw for this. We have our plastic protective panel. We'll make sure we have it in the proper orientation. Pull on the handle, we should be able to slide this into position. There we are. Now we have our corner piece here. I'm just going to secure my wiring harness into the proper port. If you have a speaker, install it into that. Looking along the bottom of this, we do have one small locating tab. It slides in and behind the door panel. Then we also have a locking tab which would go into this port. Line it up, press it in, make sure it's secured in place. Okay friend, we finished our installation. The next thing we have to do is put the key in the on position and test the functionality. I'm coming down to the mirror switch. We'll make sure we're facing towards the driver's side, or the L over here. And now, of course, you'd want to adjust the mirror to your preferences. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.